There is one thing Dr. Hovind does not like about dinosaurs. Find out what he does not like and hear the truth about dinosaurs as Creation Science Evangelism presents children's video about dinosaurs. And now here's Dr. Hovind.
All right, folks, welcome back to the final segment of the Creation Science Hour and a Half, where we defend the position that the Bible is literally true and the evolution theory is the dumbest and most dangerous idea in religion in the history of planet Earth. And who's on the phone, Jonathan?
We got Jared on, the local mathematician for us.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, Jared. And I appreciate you sending me the stuff on the log enigma.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
What did you think of that?
Well, I think I deciphered all of it and understand it, and yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
Okay.
So I was going to ask about dragons. I wanted to hear you talk a little bit about dragons and ask you some big questions. Is that cool?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so your overview about dragons is what in relation to dinosaurs?
They're the same animal.
Same animal? All of them, or?
Well, the dragon stories, by the time it gets recorded, is probably, pretty wildly exaggerated in many cases.
It's like when your grandpa goes out fishing, catches a flounder, comes back in saying he caught a 17-pound, mongoose.
It gets bigger and bigger the more you tell the story. Yeah. Right. So there's certainly, I'm not saying all dragon legends are accurate. I'm saying they're based on the idea that there was dinosaurs living with humans, and they called them dragons because the word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841 by Richard Owen. So the same animals are described all through history as having scales, some flying, like pterodactyl. There's about 9 different types of flying, I guess, considered in the dinosaur category: pterodactyl, quetzalcoatl, rhamphorhynchus, etc. So I would say dragon legends are based on an actual sighting of a dinosaur.
Okay, so how many limbs do dragons have?
Interesting. Some of the dragon legends, I'm looking at a book here in our library, it's just right by my hand here if I can find it, by Carl Schuker from England, who is an evolutionist, who shows all of the pictures down through history of dragon legends, and some of them had 4 legs and wings, which is kind of interesting. I don't know of any animal that has that, but again, this may be an exaggerated feature. By the time the story gets told or by the time the picture gets made, it might be the grandson or the great-great-great-grandson of the person who actually saw it. Like the piasaw bird. If you look at piasaw, P-I-A-S-A, up in near St. Louis, Missouri, across the river in Alton, Illinois, there used to be, when Marquette and Joliet came down the Mississippi in 1675, the Indians had painted this huge bird up on the cliff in Alton, Illinois. And they asked him, "What is this?" And they said, "Oh, that's the piasaw bird. He used to come down out of the cliffs and pick up Indians right out of their canoe and carry them off and eat them." And a great chief, killed him and ate him, or killed this piasaw bird. Okay, they didn't eat him, but killed him.
That'd be a long meal, right there.
Anyway, 150 years later, based only on the verbal description that had now been passed down for 7 generations, somebody painted the picture back up on the cliff, and it shows 2 wings and 4 legs. Well, this is so many generations removed from the original picture number 1, or it's based on a legend off of a legend. But it's interesting. There would be a lot of legends, and why would they record this in their logbook? Here they are traveling down the Mississippi. Marquette and Joliet, a couple of Catholic priests, are traveling down there, Catholic explorers, saying, "Hey, there's a big, huge bird painted on the cliffs by the Indians, and here's the story the Indians told us." Why would they do that?
Are you actually asking me the question?
Well, yeah, that's just one of hundreds of examples. Why would these people have these legends to begin with? Are they all just and why is it always a dragon? Why doesn't somebody have a fire-breathing hamster, for heaven's sake,
Well, you have to admit that the idea of a dragon is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and the legends are very similar. I was just reading yesterday about Herodotus, the Greek historian, about 200, 300 BC.
Yeah, sounds
Herodotus. He was told that when he went to Egypt, they told him about the fiery flying serpent you had to be careful of, and they had killed hundreds of these things and had big piles of the bones, and they showed him the bones of these creatures that were apparently a pterodactyl from his description. He said a huge wingspan, I forget the number, and he said they had leather for wings instead of feathers. They were very strange, a flying creature with leathery wings and a big long bump on the back of their head. This is Herodotus, 2,200 years ago or whenever he lived, describing these things.
Okay, can you give me a source for that so I can check up on that story? That sounds interesting.
I was reading it last night. I think it's probably sitting in by my bed. Okay, I don't have it here with me.
Can you spell the name for me?
The Greek historian Herodotus, H-E-R, like Herod, I think. O-D. Can you find anything on that, Jonathan? Herodotus.
I'll do a search right now.
Let me go to my PowerPoint presentation, which has a lot of stuff on that on video number 3. What I try to do at the bottom of the screen is document, everything. Here's where this came from, okay? My seminar part 3, I go through all kinds of the sightings of dinosaurs, and I go through, the references of who saw it, who said they saw it, where, when, why. PowerPoint is, there we go, opening up all 4 bazillion slides.
Okay, well, one thing that I wanted to say about the dinosaur issue was, like, as we were discussing, these depictions of dragons that have 4, legs, and 2 wings.
Right.
Those never existed.
Well, I don't know. You can't say anything never existed. As far as we know, there's nothing been found in the fossil record.
We have no evidence whatsoever outside of anecdotal stories that these things existed.
Yeah, but that's a poor argument for a point. Okay.
I'm just saying in reference to your argument that dragons were dinosaurs. Like, even if I give you that still wouldn't stand up because we have tons of dinosaur fossils, and every single one of them is a tetrapod. In fact, there's never been a vertebrate discovered that has 6 bony appendages.
Correct. Yeah, insects have. Technically,
insects aren't vertebrates.
I know, but technically, insects have 4 legs and 2 arms. The front 2 point forward, and the back 4 point backwards. Trying to get real technical about it. So the Bible talks about the insects having 4 legs, and I guess technically that's correct. Look at them.
Well, that may be true for some insects, but there are insects that have forward, side, and back pointing legs, where it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I could see, I guess, how those stories could be created, though. If someone saw a creature that had, was bipedal or something like that, and it had 2 functional arms or wings or something, much like birds today.
Yeah, and if you see a dragon and you're terrified and you get even a 20 or 30 second glimpse of it, you're likely to be more terrified and less likely to be accurate in your description. So.
Of course, if you kill one, you want to tell everyone.
Right.
You want to make that thing sound big and bad.
I would agree that the 4 legs and 2 wings is, I think, something somebody added, an exaggeration, which is why I said, these are probably stories off of stories off of stories, and by the time they get, they're not photographs, that's for sure.
Okay, so since you think that's an exaggeration, can you give me a candidate dinosaur that you think was described as a dragon?
Oh, the flying.
Well, real quick, we have to look at if the word dragon in the Bible is always referring to a creature with 6 appendages, because it may not be. That's one assumption. That's one assumption that we have right now.
Yeah, it never records. The Bible never records it as having 6 appendages. Okay, we're
only talking about the Bible.
Yeah, we're talking about pictures. Okay,